Welcome to part 3 of my ultimate New Year's reset for 2025. In part 1, we reset my closet room, my craft room, organized it. Everything looks chef's kiss up there. In part 2, we worked a lot on things around food in my kitchen, compost, those sort of things. So if you haven't seen either of those, go check it out. I'll link it up here in the cards. Those were 2 of my main areas of concern going into the new year to make sure that my space aligns with my goals. And another thing standing in my way is through that door right behind us, and also in this room. I actually have pretty big plans to switch up this space that we're in right now, and maybe kind of make this more of a filming setup and less of like an office mixed use setup. But today, if you have been following along my journey over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 months, I've become very into inventorying the things that I own. I inventoried every piece of clothing that I own, which genuinely changed my relationship with my clothes. I made a video all about that too. If you want to go check that out, I'll leave that up there in the cards. I inventoried everything in our kitchen, pantry, fridge, freezer. I use different apps to inventory those items to make that process a little bit easier. Those apps were really, really helpful. I also want to inventory everything in my garage. Welcome to our garage. Now, I don't know if you think this looks messy or not, if it looks like we have a lot of things in here or not. Everyone's perception of like messy, and if you have a lot of stuff, is subjective. And the fact that I can use my garage in comparison to like the rest of my family is a big thing. Most of the people in my family don't use their garage. They just fill it with stuff that they never go through and probably never use. Okay, I digress. For me today, the overall goal with the garage specifically is to inventory all the things that we have and also create a storage system so that we can know where things are and things don't look so out of order and misplaced and honestly a little bit stressful, right?
Yeah, right.
It's a big task. I'm gonna bring you along with me, but I also I want to show you something a little bit embarrassing that is also a part of my reset. Just something that I did that needs to be fixed. Let me show you. Okay. This is technically my office space in our home. I keep all my camera stuff in here. My desk is in here. This is for all intents and purposes my office. I've started to move some stuff in here from the garage so that we can get it out of the way for that project later. But I wonder if you noticed that there's no mattress on my daybed back here anymore. I found this on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, one of the two, like several years ago. It's meant to be like an outside daybed, but I've always left it downstairs. And when my parents come to visit, my dad is disabled, so he always sleeps down here because he doesn't have to go up the stairs. So there's not a mattress on this right now, but there definitely needs to be one for that reason. I want to show you where the mattress is right now. That's the embarrassing part that y'all might make fun of me for. This is where my mattress that was downstairs in my daybed is at currently. I will concede that this is one of the silliest things I have done as a cat mom, but let me give you a little bit of background. Tippy is 12. I've had him since he was a tiny baby. I had to bottle feed him. He's had nearly no health issues other than his asthma until we had to use like a random rover over the Thanksgiving break. And when we came home, he was like unable to walk on one of his legs. This sent me down a road to go to multiple vet specialists, so many different opinions and things that we went through to try to figure out what was wrong with him. But in that time where he wasn't walking, he literally was not getting out of bed. He was not eating, he was not doing anything. And I thought for like a solid week, I was going to lose him. All of that caused me to spiral for obvious reasons. And then one day I was up here just crying my eyes out again. And I hear this loud noise coming up the stairs, and it's Madison with this mattress. Because you see, for the first couple days, Tippy was sleeping on my side of the bed because I couldn't bear to move him. We hadn't really figured out what's wrong with him. I just wanted him to be comfortable. And Madison and I were sharing her side of the bed. But she got sick of that and dragged that mattress up here and put it on her side of the bed. So she was sleeping on this mattress for a while. I was sleeping on her side and Tippy was sleeping on my side. So I moved the mattress over here, and he has claimed that as his spot, and he has been so happy with it for over 2 months now, which has never happened with any other bed I have ever given him. So does this look really ridiculous in our room? Absolutely. Does this bring me the utmost peace? Absolutely. So I'm gonna go set up the new mattress that I got for the daybed downstairs. If you know me, you know that when it comes time to make a big purchasing decision like a mattress, I wanna make sure that the decision I'm making is one that makes me feel good about being kind to people and planet. And Birch Living makes mattresses with organic and natural materials like organic cotton, organic wool, and 100% natural latex, which means no harmful chemicals, no polyurethane foams, no fiberglass, just materials that are better for you and the planet. And knowing my mattress is safe and sustainable makes it a choice I can feel good about, whether I'm sleeping on it, whether my asthmatic cat is sleeping on it, or any of my friends and family. I really find a lot of peace in knowing that I made the right decision. And we have to talk about the setup because it could not have been easier. It was delivered right to my door, rolled up in a box, came with free shipping anywhere in the US. I was so nervous that I was going to be overwhelmed by doing this by myself, but it was easy enough. Birch Living offers a 100-night sleep trial to make sure you love it, along with a 25-year warranty, which to me really speaks to the quality, the integrity, and the actual sustainability of a product when a brand is willing to stand behind it like that. The fact that they have a 25-year one gets 2 big thumbs up from me. I am so far very happy with my choice. It's so comfortable. I love that it's hypoallergenic because, as we know, there's an asthmatic cat that lives in this house, and it regulates body temperature naturally, which is a game changer. I am a hot sleeper. I am always hot when I sleep, and the fact that this is able to naturally regulate your temperature is chef's kiss. Couldn't love it more. So if you were in the market for a mattress, whether your cat took over your other mattress or a more normal, regular, sane person reason, you can check out Birch Living. They have a President's Sale that is live right now, and they're offering my followers an exclusive discount. So head to birchliving.com/Shelbizleee to get 27% off of your mattress with code BirchPartner27, and all that information is in the description box for you. I thought the New Year reset would be the perfect time to talk about this because I think getting better sleep should be on all of our to-do lists in 2025. And so if a new mattress was in the cards for you, Birch Living is a great option. My goal for today is to move this big hanging shelf to the other side of the garage because all of the shelving units that I found on Facebook Marketplace were too tall to fit with the hanging shelf here. We didn't put it here, the previous owners left it here, but we've gotten good use out of it, so we want to keep it. And then my ultimate goal with like all of this organization and rearranging is to inventory all of the things I have into a spreadsheet instead of an app like I've done with other things, because the stuff in the garage we don't use on a daily basis like we would like food, for instance, or the clothes that we wear. And I also want to be able to save money by avoid buying duplicates, avoid the anxiety that comes to me when I can't find something, and I want to also avoid stimulating the economy over the next 4 years. We got this for our neighborhood cleanups because there's a street in our neighborhood that always has a lot of like nails and screws and things, and we've had to replace our bike tires multiple times because of them. So when we do our cleanups, we get them all. I find it to be a really important practice in eco-minimalism to go through your things regularly. So now that I have taken everything off this shelf can officially move sides of the garage in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! This is a very exciting development. Let me tell you why. We did not hang this shelf up over here where it was just like, a few seconds ago. So I'm just gonna dry you off. It's been weeks of absolutely the driest weather ever. I'm the ashiest I've ever been. And of course, now that I'm trying to talk to you, it's the most humid it's been in weeks. Anyway, we decided that shelves are very necessary. We need more organization so that our garage just like can stay organized. So moving this over here allows us to still be able to use it, but we'll be able to go grab the shelf from Facebook Marketplace, which is where we're headed right now. It's still brand new in the box. That makes me think that building it is going to be a big task, and maybe that's why the person who originally bought it never got to it. I don't know, but we're going to put it right there, and I think it's going to solve a lot of our garage issues. I also have a plan for organizing the tubs that will go on the shelves so that I'll know where everything is in the future, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, let's go. The minimalist in me has been struggling with this like reorganization situation that I'm doing at the beginning of the year, specifically with the garage, because I find myself questioning like, do we have too much stuff? But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, there really is just so much involved with maintaining a home and a car and 2 e-bikes and a garden and a yard in general and chickens, and then we have camping stuff and we have hosting stuff. We don't have an attic space, so this is where all of our holiday like stuff is too. All of our tools, some of our larger kitchen appliances are actually in the garage as well. Lots of things going on in here, and so I just think that as long as we are conscious of it and there are things that we are using on a very regular basis, I have to like let go of that idea of what minimalism is supposed to look like, because the way I grew up, this is minimalism. Like only owning things that you're actively using
That's minimalism to me. Let me know what you think, but that's how I feel. And I can't tell you how adult it feels to be so excited about an organizational system in my garage, but I am so happy about this.
Okay, if you have been following my inventorying, organizing, reset, new year kind of journey, I don't think that the garage has to be taken quite so seriously, because for the most part, it's not stuff that we use on like a daily basis, right? So I feel I can just make a spreadsheet, and my goal is to label all 12 of those tubs that I have, which who knows where those all came from. They're so mismatched. Some of them came from my mom. I know some of them came from our neighborhood association. Some of them I got from the secondhand craft store. But obviously they're mismatched, not very organized. And my goal is to put like a number on each of them, a short description of like what the theme is of each tub, and then have this spreadsheet to actually outline all the other things that like don't fit on that label. So there are 12 tubs, and then anything else we can like put in here and label if it's another container that we want to keep track of. But we're gonna call this the garage inventory. I don't know. We'll do tub number, and then we can do the overall theme of that tub. And actually what I think makes this the best, this like list of contents, like whole idea, is that I can control F when I can't find something and remember which tub it's in. Most of our tubs are not see-through, so I can't even see what is going on in there. Anybody else learn how to use Excel/Sheets when they were younger and then have no idea how to do that now? Okay, let's go see what's in the tubs and get to labeling. Who are we? Fight the alchemy.
As you can see, I have a very sophisticated labeling system going on here. I have my Google Sheet that I barely know how to operate, along with this paper tape and a marker. There are 12 tubs, which is wonderful. I can label them 1 through 12, and then in the spreadsheet, I'm gonna have the theme, like I said, and then I'll type out every bit of content that is in those tubs, so that hopefully I can use a simple Control F method to find something when I'm looking for it. I did open the boxes just to make sure, obviously, what was in each of them, and opening the like decoration boxes made me so happy, because I remember that most of my decorations are things that I made, and I don't know, that just made me feel pretty good about that. I also really wanted to make a call out to box 2, which was Christmas stuff, and I found these pillows in the dumpster. They are really, really nice. Since getting into embroidery, and only once have I ever attempted beaded embroidery, it takes so long. So when I saw that these were just headed to the landfill, my mind was blown. They're so nice, honestly. They're kind of small for my liking, but regardless, free, headed to the landfill, otherwise we will take it. Box 5 is just a box of documents from my neighborhood association. I recently, within the last few months, became the president of my neighborhood, and with that I inherited a few boxes of documents, and then the other cardboard box on top is from that. Those signs at the top right, those are from that. Box 8 is also from that. So a significant amount of the things in my garage are not even mine. They're just things I inherited from the neighborhood, but that's that. Box number 7 was the biggest mess, and I kind of anticipated that because I knew I had gathered some emergency preparedness stuff, but I just didn't know where it was. There was only really one possibility, which is in my camping box. And the reason that gets kind of complicated is obviously a lot of the things you use for camping would also be for emergency preparedness. Some of them not so much, but like my solar lights, I use them for camping. I would definitely use them in terms of an emergency. Some other things too, but I didn't realize that at the bottom of this very heavy box that is honestly so difficult to move around is where all of my aluminum water bottles are. I have heard that you can't store water indefinitely in containers. I did some research while I was doing this, and apparently water in plastic bottles is only recommended to store for a few months. In aluminum, supposedly the FDA says you can store them indefinitely. I've also heard people say that's not true and that you should only have it for a couple years. Regardless, in an emergency situation, I would rather have these than not. So I ended up actually taking this box, separating it into two so that I could have a more emergency themed box, and a more camping themed box. That's the situation here. So I had to rearrange a few things on the shelves to make that work, but we did, and I'm happy with how it is now. This was the box that needed the most labeling because I can never find my camping stuff when I need it. I also get confused about what supplies we do and don't have. So this box was kind of like the biggest reason I knew I needed to do this. And I know I already mentioned feeling weird about the whole like minimalism discussion. I obviously am an anti-consumerist. I promote this thing I call eco-minimalism, which is buying as few things new as possible. But I think looking at all this stuff and knowing most of it was purchased secondhand, when I analyzed my wardrobe, I realized my wardrobe was over 95% secondhand. So I don't feel bad about the environmental impact of all these things, but I think because a huge part of my journey has been minimalism in general, not just about the environmental impact I feel, I know that my anxiety does better when I have less things. But going through all this stuff, I mean, since cataloging and inventorying all of my belongings, there are not things that I have sitting around that I just don't use. Like, we really don't have that. And it's kind of wild to look at how many things I do have that I am consciously going through and still deciding, yes, we need all these things in this outdoor box, all these things in this gardening box, all these things in this tool box, all these things in this camping box. Like, it seems weird, but I am very conscious to get rid of things that I don't need and not to bring things into my life that I won't use on a regular basis. I'm a huge advocate for sharing with your community. I'm a huge advocate for mutual aid, libraries, all those sort of things, and I practice that in my life all the time. If you go back and watch my last video where I talk about my no-buy update, I talk about how I did that almost to a detriment, kind of, sort of, where we borrowed a wheelbarrow from a neighbor in our Buy Nothing group and ended up crashing our car. And some of the comments in that video were like, I bet you wish you bought a wheelbarrow now, to which I kind of said, like, it wouldn't matter if we had bought or borrowed the wheelbarrow, it would have had to be transported, and so the issue would have persisted either way. But yeah, I think that was a good example of, like, I do my best not to buy things I don't need. Going through all of this taught me that I'm still doing a good job of that, even though it seems like we have a lot. But at the end of the day, or having all those things organized is the best for my mental health. Making sure that I don't have more things that I'm actively using is good for the planet. And buying all of those things when I do decide I need them secondhand is also what's best for the planet. I think I've set myself up for a really good year in 2025 by making sure I know where all of my things are so that I'm not buying duplicates and so that my little brain doesn't get overwhelmed when it's looking for stuff.
Okay, I know this might not look like much, but it's a big achievement for me, the way that we've like redone this whole garage, the way I know every single thing that is in all of these boxes is going to make my life a lot easier, specifically with the camping gear and the garden stuff. Actually, just all of it. It's really helpful that I did this. Wanting to inventory everything that I own was a big part of my no-buy year, to make sure that I'm utilizing the things that I have, to make sure that I'm not buying duplicates, to save money by doing that, and it's also better for my little brain to know where things are. So if this gave you motivation, this episode, this shelf behind me, or anything in this series, I would super appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me for this little series, and if there's anything else you would like to see from me, always feel free to let me know in the comments. I love reading your comments. So remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.